What's up, everybody? Michael Johnson and Business Choreography here for another exciting episode with an incredible guest. I'm so excited today because we have Jason Kruger in the house. He is the president and founder of Signature Analytics. Jason is shaking up the way business owners run their businesses by highlighting the gaps in data and reporting. He then shares insights on how to improve profitability, increase productivity, and run companies smarter. Jason has 20 years of experience in the accounting and business adversary field, working with mid-market companies and nonprofits. And we are so excited to have him here today. Man, we are so lucky to have him and have his expertise. So let's cue the intro and we'll jump right in. Listen, there's a lot to learn when growing and scaling your business.
That's why we created the Business Choreography podcast, where we talk about choreographing your marketing, operations, and sales into dynamic systems that increase your revenue and your impact.
We'll explore solid business principles and discuss all things that make businesses dance to success with clarity.
We'll help you figure out where the holes are in your business and what you can do to fix them. Think of us as your official business choreographers, aka your insider growth strategists.
Remember, your choreography matters. Welcome to the Business Choreography Podcast. Jason, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. I'm happy to be on.
I'm excited to talk with you. And as our audience knows, I love to dig into backstory and learn more about the crazy journey that is being an entrepreneur and a business owner and doing things to serve the world. And you are doing a lot of that. I'm excited to share your story, share your expertise. So I want to jump in with the backstory. So tell us how you got to this point. You can start as far back as you'd like. And excited to hear about it.
Yeah. So how much time do we have?
Well, we have.
First, I wanted to, I love what you guys do. I'm not trying to put a plug in for you guys, but
we'll take it though.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times we see entrepreneurs or business owners, they get to a certain point and then they say, okay, well, I need to hire a salesperson, or I need to hire someone to do marketing. And they say, okay, I'll just hire the salesperson. They'll sell, they'll generate revenue, and then I can focus over here and do something else.
Right.
And that tends to be a recipe for disaster, right? Because they put all of their eggs in this one basket. They have no oversight. They have no understanding of what this person's doing, but they think this person's just going to be this, golden goose that's going to, drive revenue and build their business up and allow them to go, play golf or do whatever they do. And so a lot of what we do and what I've done over time and what I've learned is you really got to really have a clear understanding of every part of your business.
Right.
Like you guys do marketing, sales, operations, finance, accounting, HR. You want to have the experts that can support that, but at the same time, you got to know what's happening. So
right.
Taking a step back to answer the initial question that you had, going back into my career, I started my career in public accounting, so in the finance world. Spent most of that time in the Big Four. So Deloitte & Touche was a company that a big firm, one of the large global firms that I worked with for a lot of years. Spent about 9-10 years in the financial statement audit world. So what I learned is that you have to put a lot of hours in.
Right.
And there were times of the year where I was, definitely doing that. But what I also felt that I learned is I had so much exposure to different companies, different types of businesses, different people, how things were, how businesses made things, got to visit companies and see their operations and see their warehouses and really get a good grasp of, so many different companies. And we were able to provide them a lot of value. But my focus there was in financial statement audit. So we worked with companies that needed an audit, financial statement audit for one reason or another. So this is different than an IRS audit. This is an audit where you might get financing from a bank, and the bank will require audited financial statements. That gives the bank comfort that they're getting that they can trust the numbers of the company that they're basically investing in, or that they're partnering with and financing. They also may maybe a requirement if you're a public company. Obviously, you need financial statement audit performed. If equity investors may require it. So that was the field I was in. But what I realized over time, and I spent about 10 years in public accounting, is that, and we still worked with a lot of small mid-market companies at that time, like your audience. And what I realized was that a lot of these companies in the small mid-market space, they deserved better than what they had as it relates to the team that they were surrounding themselves with, the executive level team. They deserved better than what they had as it relates to their accounting and finance environment. Accounting and finance in particular, they were looking at as a necessary evil. It's like, hey, I gotta pay my bills. I gotta invoice my clients. I gotta make sure I collect the cash, and I have to make sure I can make payroll. Oh, and also once a year, I'm gonna send my stuff to my CPA, and he'll do my taxes. And so that's the mindset from a lot of business owners up front. But then as they realize over time, they can only manage the business in their head so much. And they start to feel the pain points of not having good, accurate financial information that they can use to make decisions to achieve the goals that they have. And so you leveraging my background and that knowledge that there's these companies out there that even if they wanted to hire the top talent's expensive, and they may not need the resources of this top talent on an ongoing basis. So what we did in 2008 is I started Signature Analytics. And Signature Analytics, in its short form, provides outsourced accounting and CFO advisory services on a fractional, scalable basis for companies that are really looking to grow and take their business to the next level. And so, our goal is to leverage the team they have in place, fill in the gaps, and really provide that leadership to say, hey, let's make sure you have confidence in your accounting. You can sleep well at night. You can get good numbers. You can get them in the format that makes sense for you to make decisions, and you can really accelerate that growth. So, and a lot of that plays into what you guys do as it relates to then, making decisions on operations, making decisions on marketing, making decisions on sales, and the financial impact of those decisions. What does that mean? And so that's really, a lot of our focus now. And starting 2008 with myself and a computer, so I can relate to a lot of the entrepreneurs listening here. Started, went out there, started meeting people, started trying to drive up some business, started bringing in clients, was leveraging some contractors to support that work, was flying by the seat of my pants, doing everything. I was everything at that point. But over time, slowly, I always wanted to build that strong foundation, built up a client base that I was able to start bringing in and hiring full-time employees. Started to build out the different areas of our business that we've been talking about, like marketing, sales, building out HR is critical. I never knew how important the HR function of a business was until we started growing. And I'm not just referring to simply, hiring and firing and satisfaction level of employees, but it's culture, it's strategy. There's so much that goes on in HR that it's career development, it's support for your people. So started to build that out, and fast forward, continue to make sure we were providing the highest level quality service. And so fast forward, and now we have about 80 to 85 full-time employees in multiple markets. We service about 80% of our clients fully remote now. And, it's really, we're a partner with our clients to help them drive success and through understanding their financials.
Right. Wow. What a cool journey. And from 2008, you've gone through some interesting times from the housing collapse during that time and all the way through COVID, and now having most of your people remote. I mean, how cool is that? And what a different place this market has changed to. I have so many questions for you. Love love digging into the numbers and spending time in that space. And what a cool background to have gone through with the financial statements. I mean, most, and it's amazing to me how many business owners just have no clue. They don't have a clue how
Right.
to prepare a financial for their own business. They don't have any financials to look at. And like you said, they're keeping it in their head. And
Right.
it's amazing how big a business can get with the owner keeping it in their head. And it's
Right.
truly incredible to me. And so the service that you guys are providing and what you guys are doing for the business world is incredible and so valuable. I want to dig in a little bit to a few things. Let's start with the word audit. So
Okay.
many times
It's a bad
you
word, right?
alluded to it. Yeah. And you alluded to the idea and the concept that you're not talking about an IRS audit, but I think a lot of business owners hear the word audit and they go, run away.
Right.
Like we got to go the
Right.
other direction.
Yep.
Um, but let's talk a little bit more about what an audit, because it can be a lot more of a friendly word than I think a lot of people associate with it. So let's talk
Yep.
about the friendly side of an audit and all the benefits that can come from it.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think, when we talk about the financial statement audit that we're referring to, in its simplest form, it's a way for a third party to gain some level of assurance or confidence in the financial position of the company, right? And so that third party could be the board of directors, it could be investors, it could be, like we talked about, a bank, because they have financing arrangements. But it's really a way for a third party to provide some level of confidence and assurance. But there's a lot of value to the company in that too, because one, there's best practices around accounting that have to be maintained in order to sufficiently for an audit firm to provide that level of assurance. And so if you do have audited financials, you have that confidence that that you are that you have built a strong and solid accounting foundation within your company. And if there's areas or gaps, you'll get the auditors will point those out as opportunities to improve. Now, the letter they give you sounds negative, because they call them deficiencies or significant deficiencies, but it's really a letter to management saying, hey, here's what we're calling deficiencies that we've identified, and here's our thoughts on how you might why they pose a risk to your business, and here's opportunities to improve upon those. So there's a lot of you get some feedback from a third party on why there's value to that. And so it's really an opportunity for the company to make sure that they are adhering to best practices, and ultimately what that turns into is confidence that things should be done the right way, there's no fraud present, and ultimately what's most important is, as a business owner, am I getting good financials that I can trust, that I can make decisions on, and are those financials timely? And if you have that process in place, and the accounting is in order, audits aren't that scary.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that what I hear a lot is because we do a number of different audits in different areas of business. We always like to be able to use great experts like you for this portion of it. But when people hear that, I think they kind of go, they shy away a little bit. And it's like, no, there's really great opportunities. I love how you put that. Like here are some ways for you guys that are going to pose some really great advantages for you moving forward. And by you guys being able to dig in and figure that out for them, there's going to be a lot of clarity that's going to come. And there's so much value in that clarity and being able to figure out where the deficiencies are so that you can ascend. And sometimes that might be the very thing that's holding them back from ascending.
Yeah. And I do want to make sure that that I'm clear too, that in my past life, at Deloitte, we did, financial statement audits. Our company now, we don't actually perform the audits. We actually support or we are the arm of the client's internal accounting department. So we have a lot of clients that have a financial statement audit. We support that process to make sure that it goes smoothly. The auditors get the information they need, timely, the information, all of the information is reconciled, the schedules are in place. So because of what we do, a lot of that work translates. We do have a number of individuals within our company that have a similar background as myself. But right now, what our company does is we support that internal arm of their business from an accounting perspective. So like I said, outsourced accounting from the lowest levels to the CFO level, and really helping to drive, success there, including that audit process.
I love that. And you had used, and it's kind of a trendy word these days, but I think it's appropriate. You'd use the word fractional.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to hear a little bit more on your perspective on that, because I know a lot of times, you'll hear some people talk about it and they're worried about having somebody that's fractional inside in any capacity, whether it be financially or whether it be through marketing or anything. And so talk to us a little bit about that element of being in a fractional position, but it's still being beneficial for the company.
Yeah, definitely. So I think there's a couple things. One is what I always recommend to business owners is make sure you have, if you don't have the expertise yourself, make sure you have somebody on your team that does. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a full-time employee, right? But at the same time, if you bring in somebody that has that expertise, you still need to make sure as the business owner that what they're doing, you understand the strategy, and you're able to, educate yourself on the different aspects of your own business. In the finance world, a CFO can be very expensive. I mean, very expensive, right? Depending on the level of individual and their background. And what we talk about a lot with our clients and in our business is we want to make sure we want you as a business owner, we want you as our client to have the right people doing the right thing at the right time. And what that means is we don't want the person that's doing accounts payable or bank recs to be acting as the CFO and talking to, investors and building out, complex reporting, doing margin analysis, scenario analysis, those types of things. At the same time, we don't want the CFO or a CFO individual or someone of that skill set doing bank reconciliations. And so what we see a lot of times is that companies in the small mid-market, they'll hire one person and they'll try to have them do everything, right?
Right.
They say, okay, well, I'm going to hire somebody, I'm going to call them a controller, and they're going to do everything. And because that makes sense for my business from a cost perspective, and I can't afford the higher level person anyway, and I'll just do that. So that poses a lot of risk. If that person leaves, there's significant risk, right? But the other thing is that person now is probably doing some things that are below their skill set, that maybe they don't want to be doing. But the other side of that is that they're being asked to do things that are above their skill set, and that creates risk as well. And the company's not getting value for that. On the other hand, sometimes companies will hire a CFO, and they'll say, "Well, I'm just going to hire a CFO." Well, if they're small, mid-sized, there's really not 40, 50 hours a week of CFO time. So that CFO ends up doing controller work or doing lower level work as well. And so now they're paying that CFO to do lower level work. And so what we try to do is we try to understand the existing team that our client has. Let's make sure that their roles and responsibilities are defined. And let's fill in the gaps on that, what we call that fractional basis that you mentioned, right? So fractional meaning you don't need a CFO for 40 hours a week, and you don't need to pay for a CFO for 40 hours a week, but you do need someone to support, your strategy, and from a strategic perspective, maybe 10 hours a month, maybe 20 hours a month. So somebody that give you that confidence that what you're looking at and the reporting that you're looking at is in the format that allows you to make good decisions. An example of that would be a company that's maybe, let's say they're a manufacturing company that makes multiple different products. Well, the business owner may know what their margins are for the company as a whole. Hey, yeah, our margins are about, 40%, 50%, 60%. So two questions. One, have they proved that out with the numbers? Because a lot of times that's not accurate. And the second is, if they have different product lines, they might have one product that has a 20% margin and one product that has a 70% margin. That information is critical to know, because then they can make decisions to impact how they run their business. They can push the product that has a 70% margin, work to figure out how to drive a higher margin on the low margin product. They can really make more educated decisions with better information. So,
right. I love that. Talk to me a little bit more about what it's like for somebody that's listening right now and they're going, yeah, you know what, I think I'm ready to do this, and we need this in what we're doing. What's it like for them to come in and work with you guys and get involved? Tell us a little bit more about the process, because I know from just talking to so many people, like when you get into the financial side of things, people get a little fearful, like especially if they're working out with other companies or another organization. So I think familiarity helps to make it easier for them to make the move and the jump. So talk to us a little bit about what that process is and what it looks like to get in and get going.
Yeah, we've spent a lot of time, effort, resources to ensure that we have a very strong and seamless, as seamless as possible, what we call onboarding process, right? And so education is a big part of that. Michael, you mentioned that business owners, they feel a pain, right? I feel like we're profitable, but I don't have any, where's the cash, right? I can't, I'm having cash flow issues. Or they're talking to a third party and they're talking to a bank and they're talking about getting a line of credit or financing. And they're saying, well, the bank is asking for this information and I can't get them the information in the format they need to get this line of credit. So they start feeling this pain. And so the education part of that is a big part of that. Communication is critical as well. But our onboarding process and how what we've developed basically is that we start every engagement off with really understanding their business. We sit down with the business owner. What are your goals? What you own this business, your executive team, you have this executive team. What are you trying to accomplish? What are your goals in the next 12 months, 3 years, 5 years? Based on your goals, that impacts the decisions that you make and also how you may look at your financial information as well. So let's really understand that so we can make sure we can build out the reporting infrastructure so that you can make good decisions. And then the next step is we want to sit down with their existing team and understand, their roles, their responsibilities, what's working, what's not working. A lot of times we get brought in because a company has grown quite a bit and they've stuck with the same person they've had, and that person is feeling overwhelmed, and they love having us there because, like, oh my gosh, this is the challenges I'm having. I need help. I need support, and if you guys can provide that, that's great. And so we're not looking to come in and replace their existing team. It's, hey, what's working, what's not. What role? We look at 4 critical areas. We look at their people, their internal processes within accounting and finance, their technology. So how do they leverage their technology to create efficiencies and get them good data? And then the reporting infrastructure, which is critical to business owners. And so then that first few weeks, we're looking at that information. We're really trying to understand their business. We're talking about the goals and objectives of management, the owner. And then based off of those conversations, we come back with actually a full report that talks about where we flowchart their current processes out. So they can visually see, their structure, their technology infrastructure and stack, their work chart, their process flows. We come back with thoughts and recommendations on how to create improvements on the existing processes where there might be gaps. And then we come back with a plan that we Gantt chart out over the next 3 to 6 months and say, okay, based on where we're at right now, where you're at, and here's where you want to be. here's what the plan is, and here's how we're going to execute moving forward. And so sometimes it may be that we need to reorganize some of the information so that it's in a better format that they can get better reporting. So we'll work with the team to do that. Sometimes there's, a lot of times we get brought in because things are not working well. So there's some cleanup involved, right? It's like, okay, let's clean, let's make sure we get this in the right format. Let's sit down and start building out what is the reporting infrastructure that you need, not only monthly, but maybe you need weekly reporting. Maybe you need some daily inputs. What are those so that we can get you that information? I mean, that's the power, right? Is, hey, if I can see what's going on, I can make better decisions. And so let's build that out. And then over time, what we want to give them is that comfort that you have a well-oiled accounting and finance function. You can trust that invoices are going out and they're accurate. You can trust that bills are being paid on time. Cash is being managed effectively. You're getting a forward-looking cash flow report, so you have cash visibility into what your cash looks like. You can sleep well at night knowing the day-to-day stuff is happening. The monthly close process is being done. All of the accounts are being reconciled, and then you're ultimately getting the good reporting that you need to run your business. And so we can't do that all on day one. I wish that we could just wave a magic wand, and just sprinkle fairy dust. And a lot of times it's like, well, you just push the button, right? We have an accounting software, just push the button. Well, unfortunately, it's not as easy as that. Although we do leverage technology as much as possible.
Sure.
But that's the goal. And so we have to be clear with, okay, here's where we are now. Here's where we want to be. Does this make sense? Let's prioritize. Let's make sure the cost and the value align. And then here's our plan. Okay, let's go execute against it. And this is what you can expect. So
I love it. That's great. All right. Share with us a little bit, like, where can they connect with you and where can they dig in? Because there's some people out listening. They're going, oh yeah, definitely got to get in and do this and get moving and find out how we can move forward. So how can they find you and connect?
Yeah, so easy. Website is an easy spot, signatureanalytics.com. I'm happy if anyone wants to reach, right there it is, right on the screen. If anyone wants to reach out directly to me via email, I'm always happy. I like to just learn and educate myself on what business owners are doing as well. So that's the letter J, Kruger, Kruger at signatureanalytics.com. And then if they want to call, 858-228-5643. I'm always happy to pick up the phone too.
Awesome. That's great. Guys, this is incredible information. I'm so excited that you came and shared with us your knowledge. I mean, such a cool journey that you've been on to get to this point and be able to help businesses of a lot of different sizes to be able to get their data and their analytics all in shape and get them moving in the right direction. This is such an integral part of your progress as a business. And it's so important that you take and bite the bullet. If you haven't done it already, you need to do it and you need to get in. The data matters. The analytics matter. And it could be the difference between you finding the ultimate success of your vision and your dream and totally just floundering in the same spot that you've been in for a long time. And this could make the biggest difference. I've seen it make a big difference. I've seen the results of doing this type of work. And guys, you need to really consider this. So go check out signatureanalytics.com and get connected with Jason because he can help you. So Jason, before we kick out and say goodbye for today, any final words for our audience as we set them off into the sunset?
Yeah, no, I think it's exciting. It's awesome to be an entrepreneur, to be a business owner. Educate yourself, know your business, bring in the right talent when it makes sense. Do it smartly. Cash is king. All of that is true. A lot of it sounds, like generic, but, know your business and don't have an ego. Surround yourself with the right talent.
I love that. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Until the next episode, keep working on choreographing your business. There's lots to do. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Thanks for joining us today.
Want more business choreography?
Check out our website at bizchoreo.com to find out more.
And find out how the choreography for your marketing, operations, and sales can raise your revenue and create more impact.
Remember, every business needs choreography.